And I tell you, this is going to be a real bugger to get it out of the pot. Hi, I'm miltonchang of bonsaiheirloom. I will work on this Juniper bonsai, which I bought from a bonsai friend who was quitting. He's moving out of town. Let me just talk a little bit about this tree and what to expect. I will actually take it out of the pot and repot it as well because I suspect it's been fairly overgrown. When I got the tree about 3 weeks ago, it was really beautifully green all over because he kept it in a kind of a shady area. And I did not get around to doing this on the video. So I sat outside, and then we hit an Indian summer. It got really, really hot, about 100, close to 110 degrees. And it was in the full sun, and I got burned immediately. And you can see it's quite burned. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to take it out of the pot, to show you the trunk structure. And the second is I will cut it back to make it more tidy, to make it into a kind of a tidy bonsai instead of growing wild tree. And the third is I will repot it, and I'll show you what I am to expect. I expect I'm going to run into a real big difficulty in getting the root, the soil off, because he used the traditional akadama mix, which is a very good material. It absorbs water very nicely, quickly, but if you let it grow more than 3 to 5 years in a pot, the roots really grow into it. It becomes a solid block of rock that's really hard to repot. So I will show you what I may encounter. And then not only that, I will have to repot it because I think this is a far too small a pot. People doing bonsai wind up taking pride in keeping their bonsai into really small pots. It's an over gigantic tree with a tiny little pot. I think that's off scale and it's not particularly healthy, but if you are really skilled at managing bonsai, you can do that. But for most of us amateurs, I think it's really better to plant in a slightly bigger pot to scale anyway. So with that in mind, let me struggle to take it out of the pot. I anticipate not easy. This is done the traditional way with the wire, in this case copper wire, going through, held it in place in the pot. I don't think it's necessary since you rarely turn the pot over, upside down that is. So, but people follow the tradition of tying down to the bottom of the pot. And I don't think it's going to be easy to take it out of the pot. You see, it doesn't even budge at all. So what I need to do is take a saw and cut around it to loosen it up. And I tell you, this is going to be a real bugger to get it out of the pot. So you can see the tree basic idea is this is a irregular triangle going out this way because that's a lower branch that comes out this way. So this needs to be kind of a roundish, and then this comes out. And so this is way overgrown. So let me cut back to rough shape, but I want to keep in mind to always keep it some green underneath of it so it doesn't, so it would shoot out. So let me just do a quick cut without going too deep to leave a lot of green there. So let me continue with a comment that it's so sunburned. What happens is that they're so sunburned, but when I cut off the burned part, and then very quickly the bottom will branch out to fill it out. So that's how you make the tree look more scale. So like this branch is way too long. Here's the apex. So I really don't expect it to be much. And for example, there's some green, so I cut it above the green so that this branch will start to reduce. And then when you cut, you always make sure each branch has some green left. But you don't need to keep it that long because you will never use these outer branches. So again, it will be pretty bare when I'm done with it, but I don't know how else to get rid of the burn mark and make the branches short to scale. So you do have to take drastic actions, even though, it looks shocking afterwards, and I get criticized for that. And then, so this is the apex. So I have to be a little careful here, but this is way too long, so I just cut it. Oh, it smells really good. That's one benefit of juniper. The leaves are very, very fragrant. And the berries are to make into some kind of a gin. Now all gins are made out of juniper, apparently. I keep this high a little bit longer because this is likely to be the apex. Now, this is interesting. The guy forgot to remove these branches. So you see, wiring is okay, but you got to remove them or else you'll be in trouble in the long run. And this is really kind of a haphazard job because he wired a branch here and there, not overall. And yet to let the tree so overgrown. If you want to manicure it by wiring, then you need to manicure it and not let it go and forget about it. And fortunately, this part, it has not girded into the tree, and I found another part that's actually the branch is quite damaged by the girding. So again, when I cut off the burnt part, I still need to be cognizant of leaving some greens so that the tree will branch out. Otherwise, it'll die below that, and the whole branch will be gone. It will green out fairly quickly, not to worry. Wow, look at that, so overgrown. It will never get used, so must have clip it and start over again. Well, I'm almost poodling. Poodling and bonsai they're not incompatible. But look at here, there's another more wiring that need to be removed and reconsidered. So another wire removed. I'd be a little careful here because this could be used for apex because it's high up. So I have to be a little careful not to overcut it. You see I'm cutting off, but always leave some green behind. I really am not doing it very carefully at this point. The next pass I'll be a lot more careful because it's so overgrown. I'm not going to make mistakes by cutting off too much. So this tree has been neglected for at least a couple of years. So for example, this branch, without looking at the rest of it, very interesting coming down like that, but this branch is way too long and there's nothing green here. So might as well just cut it off and make it into a gin, right? See, this all burned, so just cut it and leave some green part and it will grow back. So this is just a very rough first cut to get going. Now here's a branch you can see really problematic. That's got girded so badly into the trunk that these two trunks should have been retained for usage, but that's not possible. You see it's eaten into the tree. I don't even know where to begin to remove it. And these are copper wire, which is a bugger to remove. Okay, so it starts here. Look at that. Ooh, what a pain to even remove it, let alone the damage it does. So I think you should use wiring judiciously and remove them not too tightly and then remove them quickly. Look at that. That's quite a wire. It really doesn't need to be that thick. A copper wire, I think an aluminum wire would have done it. It's a lot easier to remove. Now you can see the damage the wiring does. And this will never recover, and there's no green here until up here. So this branch will never be used. So I must have cut it here to make it into a gin. And let this little branch take over. But look at the damage it does to the trunk. It can never recover, the branch. So now let's look at this tree. First of all, the trunk is fantastic. Either Steve or Kit found this rock to make it hover against the rock because the bottom of the trunk is rather small. But it may look like a very natural combination. So in fact, I will keep this rock with adjacent to this tree. And you can see these little old dead wood makes it look very, very picturesque. Before it was a lump, but now you can see this tree is actually, this is the apex, and this could be a branch that comes down a bit, and then this goes back, and this goes to the side, and that's a triangle. I think this is a very magnificent tree, and I will put it in a smaller, in a different pot as well, and comb out the soil. I probably won't comb it out so much that I would damage the root system, but let it grow out and comb out every year a little bit so that it will, the roots would develop again. It would take 3 years to recover, but the tree will look very nice. So now let me do a little bit of detail and then to give you the idea what the tree will look like. This tree actually is very, very interesting because it's got so much growth that need to be cut back. So one possibility is like, this is almost a double branch. This tree comes up, here's the apex, and then this branch comes up and maybe take a little turn, and that's another apex. And this looks like a very supple tree that can be bent. I suspect this is a Blaui, B-L-A-U-U, something like that, a Blaui juniper, because the leaves are fairly small, and it was popular maybe a few years ago, maybe 20 years ago in Southern California for landscaping. But when I first saw this tree, I thought it's a shimpaku. It is not, because it got a lot of flower on it. But nonetheless, the trunk and so forth makes it a very interesting tree. So let me work on the apex a little bit to give you an idea of what it can become. So for example, I think I will make this part the apex. No, I will make this the apex, this part. And then this may go down. And then this part, the second apex, and then this, the bottom branch that comes out. Oh, here's some more. I missed this. Look at this. It's so easy to miss the wiring. And I'm glad he used shining aluminum wire in this case, so at least I can spot it. Copper wire is very nice because it darkens, but then you can find them. So you really have to use wiring judiciously. I think it's a very good technique, but don't overuse it and gird your tree. Okay, with that in mind, I get to work for a little bit, at least show you a start, and then show you in the future what it will look like in an update. So this is the apex, so I would just let it grow wild for a little bit before I work on it. I just pinch off some of the brown so it doesn't look so bad, and let it just grow out. It will look pretty bare, but it will fill up fairly quickly. In 1 year, it will be quite full again, not as full as before. It will for sure be tidier, but so that's the apex. I need to be a little bit careful. And I'll bend this down. I'm saving this part till I finish this discussion. This tree, when I first look at it, I said, this rock is very nice, and this is a very nice, interesting feature. And so the tree will be like a double trunk here, and then a side branch that's coming out like a semi-cascade. But as I work on it, you can see this tree at this angle going this way. You have this, the front, and this is the back front. It's a little bit taller than the front. And then this one could do the side. I think the traditional bonsai guy will probably cringe when I say that's the front, that's a taller back front, and then that's an apex, and then that's going to the side. But the three-dimensionality is just absolutely incredible. I would have never seen this without cutting back all the tree. So I may be accused of cutting my tree too drastically, but I don't know what else I can do but do that. But then I should give it time to heal and put back all the branches to fill out all the branches, the ramifications. So that is the process. This branch, basically, there's one going to the back, and then this one is coming. This is way too long. So for sure, I will have to cut it back, and also there's a little bit of girdling of the wire. So let me just cut it here for now, and to make this the possibility of making into a gin so that it's not overly long. And then this will be coming up, and that's way too long. Let me cut it so that it will come out to be the apex short. Again, you do it with a little bit of vision, then you can be drastic without worrying making a mistake. And then when it comes out next time around, you can make that a fulfilling prophecy to get to the design you want. In fact, I found another big wire here. You almost had to use the, move the branch around the wire and so wire it around the branch. Oh, look at that girdling into the tree. But it's kind of hidden, so maybe okay. But you can see this branch is broken, so might as well cut it off. So now again, looking at this angle, I do need something here. I think this whole thing is kind of too far out. There's no branching. But let me cut off it just a little bit. Hopefully something here will branch out. It's not clear, it will. But sometimes it does when there's hidden buds below. Because I need something coming out of here so that it's not too bare. So today what I've done is I took this sunburned, overgrown juniper tree that I got from a friend about 3-4 weeks ago, and look at how much I clip off this tree and all the wire that I removed from it. So I'm sure somebody will cringe and accuse me of removing too much, but look at all of the flow. You can see it's a tremendous amount of depth and tremendous amount of movement. And in some sense, thanks to the early wiring, that's got all these interesting curves. And then I can accentuate by the clip and grow and do a little bit of final wiring to fill out the tree quickly. So that is the process in renewing this tree. is that you cut off all of the branches you don't need so you can see where you're going. And you'd be very drastic, cut off what, that you seem like, oh, too bad, it's such a big branch. Just do it. Otherwise, it will never be drastic, never be spectacular. So I think I turned this very good bonsai into hopefully a very, very nice bonsai. And that's the continuous improvement. You work on your bonsai. It becomes better and better every year to reflect your viewpoint, your philosophy of what nature should look like. And then you pass on to your generation, future generations, to remember your legacy, or give it to a friend so that they remind you every day when they water the tree, they'll be reminded of your relationship, for the thoughtfulness of giving them the tree. So this will be a wonderful tree. Maybe over in a couple years, when it's really full, we'll see what we can do. Maybe you like to have it and to become your heirloom. So we shall see. I have decided that I'm just going to continue to make bonsai every week to show you the video. But I'm not going to take it with me. I'm an old guy. And someday when, if somebody really likes it, they can have it at a price, of course. But then you get to enjoy it. You got to keep it another 50 years. I don't have 50 more years. So this is the philosophy of passing on your good trees so other people can carry on. That's why you see so many spectacular trees in Japan. They pay a lot of money for them, so they baby them and they treasure them, and they go on generation and generation. Some of the trees, they show are 500 years. That's really shocking, but that's what happens if you care for the bonsai, and it will continue to survive and thrive. So with that then, I thank you very much for watching this video. Please click like if you really like it. Tell a friend, because I'm sharing my knowledge that can benefit other bonsai hobbyists. Hope to see you again next week. Thank you very much.